This is a quick message. I think it's a quick message on source. What is your source? Okay? Because I was in a conversation yesterday, and most of the time when I share information, I do my very best to have it like my personal experience, right? Like I might refer to saying, I know somebody that told me this experience of such and such. So it's from my own experiences. I heard or was told by a friend, by somebody I know and I trust, or maybe I know, um, but I'm believing what they're saying, and that's my source of information. And when I was talking with these other people, I realized a lot of what they were saying, I've actually heard almost in verbatim from the news. And then that also made me think about all the times where, how do you know what your source is? I had another friend who said she started to think she's not crazy because she's realizing the thoughts or the source of her ideas could actually be the animals that are communicating with her, right? Now, once upon a time, that was just too wild for her. And now she stepped into that. There was a time way back, I think it was in the 80s, I was at an event and the woman was at the front of the room. There might have been, I don't know, 100 women there mainly. There were some guys. And the woman was said to be channeling Telstar. And Telstar was this far out alien presence, or, something you couldn't necessarily distinguish, but she was there giving us information, eating grapes because grapes let her stay, sort of hydrated in that sense, giving her nourishment as she was spending the whole day communicating with us. Now, it was my very first experience, and I was like looking at her going, she like a really good actress, right? Is she actually receiving messages? Because until that point in time, I always felt like my thoughts came from my brain, right? My thoughts came from my brain. Hi, and welcome. So just as messages come here on Facebook, we just assume when we make a message or a note that the other person gets it, or a comment, and we just take that for granted. So we're always elevating our experience on where we feel our source is. And when you can realize that your source and your experience in your body, how your body feels, will give you an idea of the source. So as I was looking at this woman way back then, going, is she acting? Is she a really good actor? Because I could tell her voice was different, right? She was speaking different language than it was a different vibe. So I knew something different was happening, but did I believe that, was she channeling from like a group of entities or something from outer space, or an energy packet? That was still way, kind of way beyond what I could conceive of. People that have talked to me over the years and through my life will say there are most definitely times where I get triggered. I used to have all these little habits with my fingers and my hands to distract. My eyes could shift, like literally. Like I could be talking to you, and they would just like completely go to the side, like I'd zoned out, and I was no longer present in the conversation. I was just, and they go, "You're not listening." I'm like, "Oh yeah. Sure, I'm listening." But no, I tuned out. And whatever they were saying, it didn't feel good to me. And it was uncomfortable for me. In those cases, it was just, there was a time even where I couldn't even look somebody straight in the eyes because it just was unnerving. It brought up feelings for me. So the feelings that we have in our body is the barometer of where we feel the source is. And when we come back and we keep going here for the source, what's the source here? What am I experiencing based on the the so-called external force? Is it coming from the news media? Is it coming from social media? Is it coming from a friend? Is it coming from the ether? Is it a download that's coming and I just got it? So I'm not, am I channeling? I'm connected to a greater satellite dish out in the universe. Like we believe satellites can beam down connections for the TV. So do you believe that there's a connection way up there that can beam down a thought for you? Do you believe that you are like connected to the source of all sources and there's just a radiant pulse, like your heart, like heart math, and it's coherent all through the universe? And that heartbeat and that connection and that feeling in your body is what is truth. And that impulse, everybody can have an impulse, a reset at any moment. And that reset or that impulse, that heartbeat is so beautifully connected with everybody that you can trust the process. You can trust your own inner guidance. You can trust what you need to do. And if that's all that we need to do is know what our source is, get to know our body, our feelings, our experiences, then when I was in the group of other people, the other people I was talking to, I could stay present now. Couldn't do that before, right? I could stay present and just say, I get that that's what you're telling me, right? Here's my experience. And one gentleman said to me, he goes, oh, would you say you're like an anti-vaxxer then? And I said, didn't I just tell you that 2 years ago I got a tetanus vaccine? Yeah, the important part is to pause right when I'm having this conversation and let their thoughts percolate. However they're receiving thoughts, give them the gap. And I'm like, and you're using a label again, which was something we were talking about, that the world is wanting, the media and the systems that I've grown up with want to divide and conquer. So you've gone straight to, I watched a documentary on anti-vaxxing, and sounds to me like you fit in that category. Even though I had already just told him, and then he had done, I said, He said, do you see how you just did that? Do you see how you took a source of an experience on the TV and what they told you to be truth, then you took that on to be your experience, and is any of that even really true? Right? So when each of us are our light and confident in our source and what our body's feeling, we then are able to be so present and so full of light and joy. It's just like everybody can believe what they want to believe, but you're just okay with what they believe because it's their experience. And you're being that source of light, of a new connection, just like that lady stood up on the stage for me in the 80s that was sending me out this information that we're really supposed to be spiritual beings on having a human experience. And there's so much more going on in the universe that we could ever know. I mean, I wanted to believe that what she was saying was true. Like, isn't there supposed to be a better world out there? But it just seemed way too far out for me. But I was always the type that I would have my own experience, and decide from there. Try that on today. Put on the hat, put on the clothes to have your experience. Allow the vibes in your body, the thoughts to come to you, notice them, and spend time working here instead of out there, and then notice how your life changes. Have a great day.